Hey guys, welcome back. It's Sunday, the 31st of May, and we are making some more progress. I got the rear tires mounted on the rims. I didn't film that because I've already changed out the tires on this tractor one time. I did the tires on the M one time. I did the tires on the F20 one time, and all of that stuff is on video. So I'm not going to, obviously, I'm not going to film putting the rear tires on the rims for the H. But if you want to check that stuff out, go check out earlier videos from this project, earlier videos from the M, and earlier videos from the F20. All three of them, they show the process of installing tires on rims. But I'm not going to show you any more teasers of the rims other than what you see here, because I want to get it back on the ground and in the sun before I show you anything else. Basically all we're waiting on for this is bolts so that we can put the rear wheel rim clamps onto the rear wheels, slide the rims and tires on, and then put the outer clamps on, and then it'll go back on the ground. But what we're working on today is just some of the little stuff. This is the portion of the steering shaft that the steering wheel mounts to. So out here you can see the steering shaft end that's threaded for the steering wheel. This is a new shaft from Steiner. It's got the new worm gear on it, and I've already drilled this shaft for the replacement U-joint, which we also ordered, I think, from Steiner. It's a USJ78. It's a U-joint assembly. Looks like this here. Now the original U-joint was keyed to the shaft. The new U-joint comes with holes drilled, and then you install split pins or roll pins into the U-joint and shaft. So the replacement worm shaft, let's see if I can grab the original here. And the part number for the replacement worm shaft is an IHS 750 from Steiner. So I got kind of a stockpile of old parts down here: shaft, steering wheel, gears from the transmission, rear wheel bolts, clutch parts. But all that stuff might come in handy when we do that, when we finally get the other H from my buddy's dad's place that has a tree growing up through the hitch. But anyways, this here, what's on the bench right now, is about all that's left for tiny parts. So that's pretty cool. This is all new bolts, grade 8 hardware. And some of this is like radiator mount studs, which I've got new ones anyways. Seat pan bolts, throttle linkage hardware, a couple of bolts for the fan shroud, hydraulic lever, drawbar pin. So pretty much not a whole lot of stuff left to put on it, but the stuff that we got to paint yet. So let's go ahead and drill this hole. Now I've kind of got things set up. I don't have a drill press vise, or I guess you can maybe call it a machinist vise. I'm not really sure the technical term, but this is the method I'm using. Everything's shimmed up across here, so I got the other end sitting on some blocks with some more pieces of steel for shims so that it's sitting level. And then actually I'm going to move this just because it's magnetic, so maybe we can put it here like this. I don't know if you guys can see that, but It's about as good as I can do because I don't want all the metal shavings to stick to the magnets. So. Must be a burr that we're catching on there. I know Squatch is probably cringing right now, but we're doing the best we can with what we've got, and that's all we can really do, so. That's all we can really do, Squatch. And I don't anticipate my battery lasting real long on this camera, so for sakes of saving time, we'll get the rest of the way through this and turn the camera back on. Okay guys, we got the shafts done, so both of our cross holes are drilled, the U-joint's ready to go, the bearing is still good, so we're going to reuse the bearing. It's a ST225B is the bearing number. So that's that. Our 2 roll pins. Now, basically what we're waiting on is bolts, and then mount the rear rims and tires and get this thing rolled out so that we can get all the small parts painted and start mounting stuff on it. So the next portion of this video, you're going to see this thing on all 4 tires and rolling out of the shop. So stay tuned for that. I got nothing left except for you're gonna have to wait for a few moments while we get these wait for these bolts to get here. So okay everyone, we've got our bolts, and I'll kind of show you what we're working with here. Oh, magnet's strong, but essentially you got your 5/8 11 bolts. Now I had to get all thread bolts if I wanted grade 8. You can order, I know like Steiner and a couple other vendors, they sell square head replacement bolts, but they're like $10 a bolt and they're grade 5. So what I did is I went to my local hardware supply, Farmall. I ordered full thread grade 8 because the shoulder on the non-full thread was too long to allow for the jam nut, which is in this bag, to thread on far enough, and that'll make more sense here as I go. So I got full thread bolts, jam nuts, lock washers I already had, and then regular hex on the outside. And we'll go through and I'll show you how to assemble the rear wheel rim clamps onto the center castings, and from there we'll start installing the rims. So it'll make sense as we go along, so don't worry. Okay guys, let me turn on some light in here. There we go. So the way these things go together, the inside clamp looks like, I mean they're all the same, but the inside clamp is going to go against the wheel with the larger portion here towards the wheel, and then it's going to dish away from the rim itself. So we're going to install the bolts, and let me grab the camera. Install the bolt through the clamp through the wheel, and then our jam nut goes on the outside. We're going to have to get a wrench on that. So from there, we got our clamp, our bolt, our jam nut, and then on the outside, your other clamp is going to go like this. Okay? With the lock washer and the outer regular hex nut. So if that makes sense, this portion here is what's going to clamp your rim into position. So it should look like this when you're done. Try and get you some better angle. So that's the interior clamp. They're all the same clamp, but that's the interior orientation, and that's the exterior orientation. Okay? So the best way to do it is to assemble the interior clamp, the through bolt, and the jam nut all the way around, and then you slide your rim and tire on, and from there you can put the exterior clamp, lock washer, and nut on. So we'll go ahead and get all the interior clamps done and tight, and then we'll move on to installing the rim and tire. Okay, we've got our clamps together all the way around. So again, the interior clamp is reversed, and the larger portion of the clamp is towards the rim itself. Bolt goes through, jam nut, and then we can put the rim on, and then our outer clamp, lock washer, and nut. So I'll set the camera up here. Hopefully I don't do too much damage. Now I kind of walk the tire on underneath, and then we got to rotate the wheel to align the area for the stop block. I'm just going to temporarily get some clamps on here. Let's see. I'm going to have to raise it up just a little bit. Kick it underneath. And we'll get 3 out of 6 clamps on. It's a warm one today, I'm telling you. The high is supposed to be 88 degrees, so it's a warm one. I might as well put all the other clamps on. Just like that. Now, I've had a lot of people asking questions about the type of paint we used for the tractor and the paint code and how to mix the paint and the primer. And when we do the small parts, Domino's going to help with that, I think, and we're going to go through all that, you know, mixing the paint and the hardener and the thinner and the proper ratios. We're going to go through all that stuff when we do the small parts. So just be patient with that, and we'll get to it when we get to it. So, but this side is done. We just got to tighten all the clamps down. I'm going to go do the other side off camera. That way that is done, and then we'll tighten everything down and set it back on the ground. Okay guys, we're back on the ground. Front wheels and tires on, rear wheels and tires on. I've already moved my wife's car, so the next thing is to roll this thing out in the driveway and see it in the sun for the first time. And then it's time to tarp it up and start hanging small stuff in the garage. So without further ado, let's get this thing rolled out into the sun. That wasn't as eventful as I thought, simply because we're rolling it into a shadow. But let's go to the other side. Well, I've got everything already plugged up. Our water, let's see, that would be the outlet. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the outlet. And then it comes back up through, that's the inlet. Carburetor's taped up. Cover on the exhaust manifold. See if I can get you guys some of the shine here. Yeah, the camera doesn't do it justice, but this thing is real nice, folks. Real nice. Get a shot of the rear rims. Now the fronts, they are a little bit duller finish than the rears. They're not quite as shiny, but they're real close. So, and the only reason I say that is because the fronts were originally powder coated from the manufacturer, and when we took them to powder coat, we decided to take the color swatches and compare them to the color that we did the back rims with. And the front rims are, aside from a little bit duller shine, they're pretty much the exact same color or shade. So we decided to leave them. I'm going to try and buff them just a little bit with a cotton buffing wheel, and that'll probably bring out a little bit of a shine, and you won't even be able to tell the difference hardly. So there it is, rolled into the sunlight, folks. That's all I've really got for this video. You know, this has been a heck of a journey, and now we're back on the ground. We just got to do the small parts, install all the small parts, get the electrical all buttoned up and the gauges, oil pressure lines, stuff like that, and then get the steering buttoned up, which won't be hard. It's just a matter of installing the steering shafts and the steering wheel, and from there it's tin work. You know, the final stage is tin work, body work, prime and paint, and then we're ready for a test run. So we were shooting for the 4th of July. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll keep going on it little by little. It's June 1st now. So that's all I've really got, though. I hope you guys have enjoyed this so far. I hope you guys really enjoy the tractor as it's turning out here. And we'll get one more close-up of the chrome. Chrome in the sunlight, people. So there's that chrome throttle linkage back behind there. Comes up behind, right up to the throttle linkage arm. But that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Thanks for wrenching with me, and I hope you're enjoying this. Don't forget to check out that link below to the GoFundMe, and we'll try and donate to the cause, as well as raise awareness with, you know, this thing's obviously going to travel from show to show with a bunch of memorabilia, and you guys, if you see it at a show, find me and we'll go for a ride, okay? That's all I got. So stay tuned, and hopefully the next one will be laying down some more red. So talk to you guys later.